that song.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Well, I meant to do a podcast the past couple of days, but
Mike's Daily Podcast.
I got distracted by work and now all the stress is happening. Oh, and then my tire got a nail in it, and I had to get it pulled out and fixed. That was free, thankfully. I am so happy about that. Yes. Thanks for listening to today's podcast. Somewhere in Podcastro Valley 10.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
The last place on earth. This may or may not be the last podcast for a couple of weeks because I am off
Mike's
to Florida,
Daily
then Tejas
Podcast
to see family and relatives.
Yeah!
And I'm now going to tell you that since we're getting closer and closer to the departure time, stuff is starting to get stressful and a little rattled and I don't know, you know, that kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? You know how it is. Like, for example, out of the blue, I lost something and I have no idea where it went. I have turned everything upside down. The room that I had it in, it's gone. I don't know where it went, and I am like just mystified. I am seriously thinking there's a ghost that pulled it into a different dimension. It's that kind of weird. So that added to my stress today. And then what else? And then there was, this week, last night out of the blue, all kinds of weird stuff. Last night, out of the blue, my car has a check engine light, but then it went away today. And somebody told me, oh, no, that's normal with Hondas. Oh, great. Thought Hondas are supposed to be these indestructible cars. And then, last night, we caught Pete the Possum. Pete the Possum decided to go into the house.
And here's today's podcast picture.
Well, he's gone into the house a couple of times. And then a few nights ago, he actually walked into the house and was sitting on top of the clean dishes, in the clean dishes tray. So at that point, we were saying, my lovely lady friend and I, yeah, he's got to go. So we have a trap. We trapped him and released him out in the wild. And I hope he's okay. Now, this would never have happened if I had still the late, great Basil the Boxer. But, yes, unfortunately, he's gone. But, Basil, you would have scared that Pete right out of there. Yes, you would have. Cats don't do quite the same thing. By the way, I'd like to say a quick little Godspeed to a dog that passed away that belonged to some people, some really cool people. Marcel, the name of the dog. And in fact, Basil once met Marcel. This is just weird. Just unfortunate and just shows you how life is messed up sometimes. Marcel, a little dog, I think a Bichon. He's a little bit older and he was walking on some stairs and he fell down and landed the wrong way. And basically from that injury, died. Oh, I know. It's terrible. It's like that should not kill a beloved animal. Dang stairs. It just goes to show, just be careful with your dogs. Don't get them too riled up. You know, it makes me think now that I'm thinking about it that Basil one time got really riled up. He ran down the stairs to see me and he actually fell down. I freaked out. I was like, oh, and that he was fine. He got up and he wasn't limping or anything. But dang, you know, he was not. I mean, he was an older dog at that point. But dang, it's just okay. So the podcast picture is of the wonderful Poplar Beach that I went to with my lovely lady friend a few weeks ago, and we remembered Basil the Boxer because we used to take him there all the time. He used to run on the beach, and he had a great time there. And we were just remembering him. And see that picture at mikesdailypodcast.com. The weather was a little bit hazy. I'm sure today would have been a beautiful day. Maybe not. I don't know. There's still a lot of smoke in the air. But yeah, I'm just trying to get ready for this trip and all kinds of stuff happening. And it sucks because it's keeping me from getting prepared for the trip. Because there's lots I got to do. And yet, as we get closer and closer to the trip, there's more and more things to do. It's just annoying. So how on earth did this object just suddenly disappear? And how am I going to find it? Everyone misplaces things from time to time, but that doesn't make it any less frustrating when it happens to you. Berating yourself for losing track of an item and wasting time with haphazard searches are normal responses, but they won't help you get any closer to recovering the lost item. So you need to stay calm, review your actions, and do systematic, thorough searches in the places you think the item might be to find it as soon as possible. Check in the messiest parts of the area or the house or work. Studies have actually shown something you might have already guessed, that lost objects tend to get misplaced in the most cluttered areas of your home or workplace. Search this messy area systematically, shifting objects one at a time and placing them off to the side to look for your item. Go slowly and carefully. Making the clutter worse will just make it harder for you to find your missing object. Designate a clean area to place every item you're searching so it doesn't get mixed in with things that haven't been checked yet. Look under and around large items. You might accidentally stack bigger objects on top of smaller objects, often without realizing what you're covering up. Move objects off of surfaces and check under them thoroughly to make sure your item isn't caught underneath. You might have a stack of papers over your phone, or tossed your keys near some jewelry that camouflages them perfectly. By the way, the item I'm trying to find is black, and the room has like no lighting. And I'm using the flashlight from my phone, which doesn't have the best light. So if I could just flood that room with light, I'm sure I would find it. If you're looking in the car in small spaces, make sure to check the floor mats, under the seats, in the trunk, and in the space between the center console and the seats. You might even want to look on the roof. It can be easy to throw sunglasses, a drink, or even a phone up there and forget about it. I've done that. Back in the days of, remember the Walkman? I left a Walkman on top of my car and started driving off, and it didn't fall off, and I didn't hear it and remember it until I was on the freeway on-ramp as we go outside a cafe anyway, where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcaster Valleyton. In a living room area, look between the sofa cushions. Oh, it's amazing what you find there, or beneath couches and chairs. If you like to sprawl out, the item may have fallen out and gotten stuck. Think about how big the item is and where it could fit without you realizing. Don't forget to check beneath cabinets or on crowded shelves and on the floor. Check in small spaces to make sure the item hasn't fallen or gotten stuck. You'll often recover lost objects in the car, wedged into a sofa, or dropped in a corner on the floor. Narrow the recovery zone down to the most likely places, the place you remember having the object, and anywhere you may have taken it since, and look in every nook and cranny there. Look in places where you've lost this object before. Check lost and found areas, retracing your steps. Stay calm and tell yourself that you'll find it. It can be easy to panic or jump to conclusions when you lose something, especially if it's important. Instead of panicking or running around and looking everywhere, sit down for a moment in a calm and comfortable place and focus on getting a hold of your thoughts. Refocusing will get you in the right frame of mind to think logically and search for the object in the most efficient way. Take deep breaths. Think of something that calms your anxiety. Don't let negativity sap your motivation to search. Instead of thinking it's lost forever, tell yourself, it's around here and I will find it. Close your eyes and try to remember the moment you misplaced the object. From a mental image of the moment when you last saw the object, what were you doing or feeling? Add as many details as you can, even if you think they're superfluous. Making your memory as rich as possible and will help you access details that might be the key to finding the item's location. Remember, you were there when you misplaced the object. You have a memory of its location, even if it's faint. Stay calm, close your eyes, and think back. Recheck the area where it's supposed to be and its immediate vicinity. I've done that. Look at the place where you last used the object. I've done that. Make sure you're not looking right at it. That has happened before. Ask for help from friends or bystanders. In fact, that's my next plan of attack. Call the last place you had the item if it was lost outside of your home. Before you start making calls or racing back to other places, search your immediate surroundings as carefully as you can. You don't want to run back to your work only to find that your wallet was in the car the whole time. And then there's ways to keep your objects lost, like make objects stand out so you won't lose them as easily, attach a tracker to important items and an app, make a mental note every time you put down an important object. That's interesting. I don't know if that's... I mean, that would maybe work. That's a lot of extra mental energy with all the other stuff you're doing to do that as well, but that's a suggestion. Check for important objects before you leave a room or a car. Keep your space neat and orderly to reduce the chances of losing something. This all from WikiHow. WikiHow.com. Hey, we're outside a cafe anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valleyton. Wasn't that picture of Basil the Boxer so beautiful from 3 years ago when we went to Mendocino? Oh, gosh, he's so cute and wonderful and just great in that picture. My lovely lady friend and I had a wonderful time on that Portuguese beach 3 years ago. Look who's out here.
Hello, Mike Matthews. It's Chely Shoehart, gift shop supervisor. I don't lose anything, Mike Matthews, ever.
Not even your snow globes?
We don't have snow gloves anymore.
Oh, okay, maybe that's why. Who else is here? Hello, Mike, this is Floyd the Floorman. And this is John Deere, the engineer. Mike, you just need to retrace your steps. And happy October. Yes, it's October! October. Thank you, John Deere, the engineer. Next show, it'll be the wonderful Benita, the Disgruntled Fiddle Player, the Brewmaster. I will try to bring you a new show before I leave on my vacation. But if I don't, I hope to bring you a new one again soon. Refreshed and renewed. And hopefully I'll find that dang thing that I lost. Ooh. Also, don't forget, tomorrow morning, between the hours of 9 a.m. and 4 p.m., you'll be able to hear me on a radio station in the Bay Area and online. The link is at mikesdailypodcast.com, but I am only on from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. tomorrow, so definitely listen to that radio station. I'll be playing some fun, upbeat music. And you can find out more about that at mikesdailypodcast.com. And call me, tell me what you think of anything we covered today. 336MM Daily, 3 plus 3 equals 6. MM as in Mike Matthews, Daily as in what this podcast will try to be, but is probably going to be interrupted for a couple of weeks. I hope you understand. And that was FM episode 2315, 2315.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com. Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!